Hello and welcome to our first session on the Zentangle Ornate Frames, or what we also call as the Zentangle Cartouche in the Zentangle world, right? So in front of me is a A5 paper of good quality, right? Acid-free paper, and I have done some groundwork on the paper. So what I did here is pulled out some old photograph which I wanted to preserve, right? You can see it is a black and white photograph. Don't ask me who they are, right? And since A5 paper, these two sides I took as the benchmark, and accordingly I kept the photo maintaining this width here also, and then cut the extra paper maintaining the same width, right? So that's how I have cut out the A5 paper to my size, maintaining this width, right? It's about 3 centimeters. And then I have drawn this checkerboard kind of square blocks, right? Just as we draw for the pattern Knightsbridge. So I have created that checkerboard kind of thing around my photograph, right? So this is not stuck, so I'm going to remove it now, right? And I'm going to work on this paper and create a frame kind of thing for the photograph, right? So this is our first session. We'll be working on a variety of frames here. So let's get started today. So as I already mentioned in the tools and supplies, I'll be using a burgundy pen here, right? So this is the first tool that I'm going to be using, and then we'll see what else do we use, right? So let's get started right away. I'm going to start with these square shapes, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's okay. I'm going to start here. I'm going to create these squares by drawing these V shapes, right? So taking my grid as a benchmark, I am now drawing these triangular or V shapes like this, right? Like this, right? And then I'm going to complete this square by again drawing the same zigzag V shapes in the opposite side, right? So that they form a square. So again drawing these zigzag lines or inverted V shapes, taking a cue from my grid. Like this, right? Hope it is clear to you. Yeah. I'm going to extend this one also like this, and then continue the process. So now that we have understood the process, we can always draw both these lines together, right? Or you can choose to first complete the first V's and then go to the lower part the way you wish to. Right? Again the same process, right? Again I'm going to complete this square by drawing the V's below in the second line, right? So take your time, go slow, don't worry about whether the lines are straight or not. You can even work without a grid here, right? Again I'm rotating my paper and going to continue like this. Right, again the second line of V's like this. So pretty simple. Two set of zigzag lines mirroring each other, right? and I'll do the same for the fourth side also. Right, so I'm done with the exercise. Now let us get started and add a coffered look, right? So what I'm going to do is add 4 dots at 4 corners at a little distance from the 4 corners of the square. Join these dots and join these dots to the corners also, right? So this is called as giving the coffered effect, right? So again 4 dots, join these dots to each other and then join these dots also to the 4 corners, right? Simple exercise. Again 4 dots at 4 corners at a little distance from the corners and then joining the dots to the 4 corners. A nice way to enhance the look of a tangle, giving the coffered effect. Again 4 dots, join the dots together and the dots to the corners, right? Again right, so I'm going to continue like this. I'll show you 1 or 2 more. 4 dots, join the dots with each other and then to the 4 corners. Again 4 dots, join the dots and the dots to the corners, right? Right, so let me finish it. So I'm almost finishing the exercise here. Again the lines and the dots, right? So gives a framed kind of look to your tangle, right? So we are done with this exercise. Now let us move on to the next step. These triangular shapes that are left in between, I'm now going to add some curves here like this and add an orb like this, right? Simple exercise. Curve, curve and curve and the big orb inside, right? Again 3 curves on 3 sides and then a big orb inside, right? Something that we use inside triply generally. Nice fragment, right? So I'm going to continue first the lower line and then we'll either add the same thing in the other side also, or we can add something else also. We'll see. So go slow, rotate your paper as per your position convenience. Don't move your hand much. Right? So again So simple patterns and the magic they can create, we already know about Zentangle, right? So the tangles are made up of very elemental strokes, and yet the kind of magic they can create is unbelievable. So you can see I'm just using a mild C stroke here, three sides of the triangle, adding an orb. Right, small little space left here, we can always add probably like this. Yeah, and I think I'll do the same exercise on the other side also because I'm liking the look. So I will do the same exercise on the other side also. Again, one curve, two curve, third curve and an orb. Again, one curve, second curve, third curve and an orb. Again, one curve, two curve, three curves and an orb. Right, so I'll continue like this and get back to you. Take your time, draw at your own pace. You can always pause the video and finish drawing. Yeah, so I'll continue like this. So I'm done with that exercise, and you can already see the meta pattern that is created just by combining the two things, right? So moving on to our next step, I'm now going to pick up my black pen. So you can use your O1 or you can use your PN, whichever you are comfortable with. And this is a brown pen, I'm sorry. I'm going to use my O1 black and then going to add these triangle shapes at the four corners like this and add an orb like this, right? Simple exercise. Going to again add a triangle like this and then an orb over it, right? Again going to add a triangle, a cone kind of shape, one part of a square, whatever you want to call it, and again go to the fourth side, draw the same shape, right, and an orb, right? So simple exercise. I'm going to do this for all. Again, four triangular shapes at four corners like this, ink them in, so take your time, go slow. And the fourth one. Right, so simple exercise. I'm going to be doing the same for all. Let me show you one more. One triangle, one triangle, one triangle, inking them. and the fourth one, right, and then an orb like this, right. So I'll continue doing like this. So continuing with the same process, I am on the last one now. So again adding the same triangular shapes at the four corners, inking them in. Yeah, so done with the exercise. Just add the orbs, right. So now a small little exercise that I'm going to do is fill in these small little spaces that are left in between here. I've drawn the orb and small spaces are left on the three sides. So I'm going to slowly ink all these spaces, right. Like this. Right, so take your time. You can do it simultaneously for both the sides if you want. Right, so inking, again you can see a very important part of the Zentangle method. Tangles don't feel complete unless you ink in these small little spaces left here and there, right. So take that time and effort, right. So I'll just complete this exercise. So now that we are done with that exercise of inking that small little section which was left in between the orbs and the triangles, now let us add a little more decked up look to our coffered look, right. So the squares which have a coffered look, I'm going to be adding these small little curls inside like this, right, not too many, but going to deck up the coffered look a little bit, right. So just going to add these small mocha shapes or printums, whatever you want to call it, right. So take your time, go slow like this, right. So I'm going to be doing this for all simple exercise, just mochas in alternate directions or fescues, right. I hope you are able to see clearly. Yeah, so I'm just going to add these fescue like shapes or mocha like shapes in the coffered area, right, for all. Slowly take your time. Right, so let me do this exercise, you can follow along. Right, so ornate means ornamented, so it will be nice to deck up our tangles a bit, right, to get that ornamented look. Yeah, So I'm going to continue doing this. Just a simple mochas or fescues facing in alternate directions. Keep rotating your paper. Yeah, so I'll continue like this. So I'm almost finishing here on the last few, adding the same fescue and mocha like shapes, all curled up inside the coffered line section. Yeah. So you can see how decked up the squares look after adding a little embellishment. Yeah. Yeah, so done with that exercise. Let us now move on to shading. Yeah, so I'm now going to pick up my pencil and my blending stump and start to add shade at each of these crossings. I want to shade both these two sections. I mean to shade both the triangle and the square, right? So I'm adding my graphite in such a fashion that I shade both of them together. Again, don't add too much. Just at the corners, take it easy, blend, but don't blend to cover the entire section. Leave the center empty. Yeah. So let's move on to the next. Again, adding at the corners. One step at a time. Take each of them at a time. Again, at this corner, at this corner, at this corner, then some here, some here, some here, some here. Right? So this will give the impression of a shine or shimmer. So you can shade both together from the corner towards the center, but not covering the center. Yeah, like this. So moving on to the third one, again here on this line, here on this line, on this line, and here. Again, blend with a soft hand. Don't blend too much. Leave a highlight. Yeah, I think you got an idea. You can add some light touch of graphite inside here but don't blend too much, just a touch. Yeah, I think that's enough. Yeah, and then here we left out both sides. Yeah, so almost shining and coming out. Yeah, so I'll continue like this again at the four corners. I'll show you once more. Here, again here. So shading both the triangles and the square together. Yeah, again blend, bring it towards the center, but don't blend too much, leave a highlight. Again blend, bring it towards the center. You can take one at a time. First blend the triangles and then move to the squares, entirely up to you. Yeah, so I'm going to continue like this. So I'm almost finishing with my blending in the same fashion that I showed you. I put some graphite on the edges of the triangles, on the four corners of the square, blending it and ensuring that I leave a highlight and some graphite in the inside. Yeah, so spaces are small, so take it easy, don't blend too much. You don't want the entire thing to go gray. You must leave a highlight in the center for each, right? Yeah, so we are almost done with the blending. Yeah, I think it's done. So that is how our frame looks like. Now I'm going to add a small touch of gold here. So I have my gold jelly roll also, or you can add some gold acrylic, right? So I have gold acrylic color with me, and I'm just going to touch it on these here like this, right? So I hope you can see it clearly. Yeah, so just going to touch it. You can use a toothpick or anything that you feel like to do the exercise. Yeah, so a touch of gold. So you can comfortably use your jelly roll. If you don't have acrylic colors handy, that's okay. Gold jelly roll or a permanent marker or any gold pen is okay. Just want to highlight those circles a bit. And ornamented look without gold would be incomplete. Yeah, so just a touch of gold and we are done. Yeah, give it a few minutes to dry up. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it for some time so that the dots dry up, and that's how our frame looks like. Yeah, so this is how our frame looks like after completing shading and once my golden dots have dried up. Yeah, so hope you like the frame, and we shall come up with another such beautiful frame idea again in the next session. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.